We are
the Jacobson Project.
All right, back up at the tiny home, and today, besides whining, Lloyd, today what we're going to work on is basically the planning of the electrical boxes. And Kim and I spent quite a bit of time last weekend, last weekend, talking about where we want outlets and where we want switches. So I have started a little drawing that's kind of mapping out where the boxes are going to be, and I'm going to use this drawing to figure out the wiring and which way to run the wires and how to tie that into the circuit breaker box, which is going to be on that end. That's the end where I just have the styrofoam sheets put up against. Ed Holland, these are the studs that you said were crooked, and they probably are. They're just wedged up there to hold that styrofoam in place. But anyway, that's coming out, and we're going to cut open an opening at this next spring, and that's going to have a closet that's going to hold the circuit breaker box and all the wiring and all of the electronic, the components for the solar are going to be in that exterior box, accessible from the inside and the outside. And then the wiring is going to come up and run along the top of these studs and then drop down into, for instance, this is going to be a switch box right here. So we're also figuring out how to connect these switch boxes, these electrical boxes, to these metal studs. And I've come up with a plan for that. Let's see if I can show this off. I've been tinkering around with this for quite a while. And I think the best plan of attack, I got these brackets, these little, L brackets. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these self-tapping sheet metal screws, and I'm just going to attach these things right to the box. And then what that's going to allow is for the box to sit in there, and the angle bracket is going to I think it's going to probably go behind, and then I will run those sheet metal screws right through there and tie into it, and that's going to hold these things in place. This one's a little bit tight. I'm going to have to do maybe I'll shave off the wood here, or I might take the grinder and cut this out. This box is just a little bit tight, so I'm going to work on that today, and I'm hopefully going to get one of these set into place, so you can kind of see how this is going to work. I'm not going to do them all, obviously. So far we've got, there's a lot of boxes that I have to install. So Kim's on her way up. She's cutting hair right now, but she will be coming up this evening, and I think we're going to do some more snowshoeing and hang out with the dogs, spend some time outside. Okay, let's go through this drawing a little bit. Now, by this time you've already seen the episode, the 3D drawing of this place and how it's going to be fleshed out. This is just obviously a 2D drawing. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just approximate locations of these boxes, and why I'm laying them out this way, and then eventually I'll use this to figure out how I'm going to run the wiring from the circuit breaker box. So this is the north-facing wall. For instance, I have this outlet in the middle of the wall. That's going to be for the TV. That's going to be a flat screen mounted on the wall there. Below it, we'll have a double outlet on the end, this is the east facing wall, we'll have a switch, and that's going to be a two-way switch that operates off of right here, on the bottom side of the steps, and then we'll have another switch and an outlet next to the bed upstairs. So when you're going up the stairs, you can turn the light on. When you're laying in bed, you can turn the light off. Here's a double box, which is going to be right there next to the back door. That's going to have a switch for the kitchen lights and for the exterior light. When we get into the kitchen space, here's a double outlet that's above where we're going to have this is where we're going to have our range top, 2-burner range, and that's going to be the fan. So the exhaust fan will probably sit something like this, something like that. I don't know exactly how it's going to look yet, but that's for the fan to plug in. There's going to be a double outlet on the other end of the countertop there. And then when we get into the bathroom space, there'll be a double box on the west wall for a switch and for an outlet by the sink. There's also going to be a single box behind the compost toilet. That's going to be, potentially we're going to put an exhaust fan in the compost toilet box that will need to be plugged in. And then above the bathroom, we're going to have a double outlet above this space, and that's going to operate the pressure switch, the pump that's going to pressurize and pump the water from our holding tank, which is going to be our water holding tank, which is going to be above the bathroom, and that's going to pump the water down into the shower and into the kitchen space sink. So that's the north side wall wiring. I still have to figure out exactly how I'm going to wire this thing up, which way I'm going to run the actual wires themselves, but this is where I'm going to start placing these boxes throughout that wall and the end walls. Now the south side wall, behind where you are, from where you're looking, this is pretty simple actually. On this side, we're going to have switches. We're going to have the switches. Yeah, we're going to have the switches. This is the slider that opens up from this side. So we're going to have a double switch here, probably switches for the kitchen and an exterior light out onto the porch or out onto the south side lawn. And then we're going to have above the counter space, this is where the sink is. We're going to have a double box for 2 outlets on each side of the window. Back into the living space, this is where the couch is going to sit. We're going to have some outlets behind the couch. And then up in the loft, there will be a double box right here for outlets next to the bed. And I'm not sure which side I'm going to put the double switch for, because we're going to have that single switch at the bottom of the steps, or single box. It's going to be a two-way switch to shut off the lights that are up in the loft space. So that's the basic layout of the boxes, and I'm going to use this. I'll probably draw this up in my computer. I'll probably draw this up and have a 2D drawing, and I'll be able to print off multiple copies that way and just figure out exactly how I'm going to do the wiring. But this is just my initial sketch to get things started. Kim and I spent a lot of time talking through this, where the switches, where the outlets should be, and I think we got a plan, so looking good so far. Now I'm going to work on this box and try to get one installed to see if my plan for installation is going to work. All right, I didn't get a lot done on this episode, obviously. Mostly figuring out how to connect these boxes to the wall. This one was fairly easy because it's just, I can just screw it right into this stud. And that's where it's gonna be. So I might have to do some adjustments as far as how deep to mount it, but that thing's in place. I do want to thank Jake for giving me all those extra boxes, electrical boxes. I didn't start using them yet, but appreciate that, Jake. I'm sure I'm going to put those to use. And also I want to thank Olivia for the gift of the fan, the stovetop fan. That thing is moving the air around in here nicely. I think it's a nice little addition to that stove, and it's going to warm this place up even better than it already is. It came with this heat, this thermometer too for the stovepipe. And this thing really, it doesn't get, even though this thing is kicking off a lot of heat, this stovepipe is not overly hot right now. I don't know, 200 degrees isn't terribly hot for the stovepipe. So anyway, that's nice to have that thermometer too. Puppies are taking a break, sleeping in their beds where they should be. Lottie, good girl. Kim should be here any minute. Then we're gonna have some fun.
No.
How are you? Are you happy work's done?
Yes, I am.
Come on, puppies.
Great.
Oh, see, look. Somebody went down on snowmobile. Lloyd, come on. Okay. Isn't this awesome? You okay?
Yeah. You never know when a branch is gonna slap you in the face.
Careful, bud.
Oh!
Here's our flat screen iPhone hanging on a hook. We got the Packers and the Rams on. Dogs are outside. What were you doing?
I was at a party.
You were at a porta party. Kim just got out of the porta party. Now we're gonna party.
Across the 20 and then decked out across the 25. So the Packers hadn't been stopped all day and maybe themselves.
Body's happy.